Okay, in this video we're going to look at creating a family. Now, families are used in Revit for a number of different things. We have what's called a systems family, which are things like walls, types and roof types, and in the case of what we're doing today, slab edge types. And they're pretty fixed. You have to actually create those families in Revit. There's also another lot of families which are more generic, and companies around Australia and the world produce Revit drawings or families that you can import into your Revit drawing. Things like IKEA have all drawings of furniture. There are people that do windows, doors, etc. So today we're going to create a system family for our slab edge for the foundation of our house. So the first thing you need to do is to open up your new project. Sorry, we just want to go new project there. Just let me go back. And we want to browse into and pick our SS1 OAC template and open that. You may have it open already if you've been working on it. Make sure it's a project and open up. Okay, we're not going to do anything to that at the moment. We're just going to keep it open there in the background, and we're going to go in again and click on new, but this time we're going to create a new family. Now, you might not be able to see that on the screen at the moment, but you will when you click on it. It's the second one down. That will bring up this folder that is in the Revit on your computer. It should say metric at the moment, and if it doesn't, then you need to speak to me because you've got some problems about which version you installed. So come across, and what we're looking for here is profiles, and we have some profiles here. The one that we're after is metric profile hosted, and you'll understand why it's called hosted in a little while. Open that up and you will get a drawing that's got a couple of dashed lines. It's got this host face running down here. An insertion point is where the two lines cross, and host, host, host all the way down here. And you probably don't know what that means at this stage, so let me see if I can explain it to you. The host, this is a profile that is hosted. It means when we draw up a shape, it will create a 3D version of it that will connect to a host. In our case, that will be the slab. And I'm just going to show you where the slab will be in this case by drawing in another one of these lines. Remember, these lines don't print out or don't become part of your family. They're just there to help you draw. I'm going to right click on that and create similar. Come up here and select 100 above that line and drag it across. You'll notice that if I keep it parallel, it gets a dashed line. If I go off parallel, it gives me an angle, so I want it parallel, and when I get to the end it gives me a vertical line to say that I'm reached the right distance. I can left click and it puts that line in. I'm just going to hit escape on the keyboard twice, and that gives me back to my pointer. This distance here is 100, and if you can imagine that being the slab that we've got for our floor of our house, okay, and then the slab edge is going to be down here underneath that. Alright, so we need to put in a couple more of these lines to help us draw up our slab edge. So I'm going to highlight over there, right click and create similar. And I'm going to come out here 150. Now, if you can't pick 150 looking at it, there are two ways you can do it. You can zoom in, and the more you zoom in, the easier it is to get your measurement. Or while you're holding it there, you can just type in the measurement that you want. So in this case, I want 150 and enter. And you can see it's given me there. I'm just going to drag this down. I don't need to go very far down. Doesn't matter where I stop as long as it's parallel to that host face. And I'm going to put another one in at 50 away from that, and you'll see why that is in a minute. Enter. And again, that doesn't need to come down very far at all as well, just as long as it's parallel. They're just to help me draw up the profile that we want. So now we can start to create our profile. So we need to come up onto our ribbon toolbar, pick create and line tool, and we can then start drawing up. I'm going to come out here 150, and I'll just type that in, and I'm going to come across all the way to that point there on the 50. When I get the square around, it means I'm right on the point, and I can left click. I want to put a 45-degree angle in here. So this is sort of going to be like a filler in the corner between the slab and the side of the slab edge. You can see the angle is on 45, and when I get to the point where I want it, that line highlights and I get a little purple cross there. I just left click there. Come down and I want to put in 300 down here. Enter. And come across on the, again, horizontally until I line up with the one above. Left click again and come up here. And double click on my escape on my keyboard and we have our profile there. So it's 300 across and it should be 300 down, but I just realized it's not 300 down. I'm 300 down from that point down to here because I added this little bit in. No great problem. All I need to do is click on that bottom line and it will give me a temporary measurement here, temporary dimension, which if I highlight over the number and click, I can put in the 300 that I wanted and hit enter, and you can see that that's got a lot smaller. So that's our profile for our slab edge. It'll allow us 150 overflow like we want for our brickwork to go onto, and this will be the top of our actual floor inside. A couple of settings to fix up while you're here. Come in and into the properties. Remember, if you can't see the properties box up there, go into view and user interface and you can tick which ones you want there. We'll come back to there. Click in the profile usage and come down and find slab edge and apply, or just come onto the screen, and you can put the material for the model down there too as concrete, or sorry, it'd be concrete, just concrete. Yep. And we then can save that. So we do a save as a family. So you can't see that again there, but you save it as a family. Don't save it as a project. That will be no good. So save it as a family. Come into your Revit SS file, find your My Family, and we're going to call this one Slab. Oops, just start with a capital there, I think. Slab Edge 300 by 300. I'm just using an X for that. By 150. And you'll see that the family files are RFA files. So we just can click on that and that will save it into our family file. We then want to bring that into our project and get it set up within our project. So we can go load into project. It's just in the create bar. Click on load into project, and it doesn't seem like anything's happened here. I can't see anything there. If I go into floor and look at slab edges, got this one in here, 300 by 500 by, that's not the one that I wanted. No, ours isn't in there. Right, so we have to get that in there somehow. Where it's actually sitting is down in the families. If we come down into the families and we go down into profiles, you can see that we've got a couple there in the slab edge. We've got a slab edge 300 by 50C, and we've got a slab edge 300 by 300 by 150. That's the one we've just made, and that's the one we've just loaded into the project. So you should be seeing that there. Okay. How do we get that in? Right, well, we come back up and we choose floor and slab edge and have that one up and go edit type. Now, that's just make sure you have got the proper one. That's slab thickener. We want to keep that slab thickener. Don't lose that. Make sure you just click on here and find slab edge 300 by 300 by 50. We're actually going to put your settings into that one. I'm going to rename it, and I want you to rename it as well. Oops, down here. Times 150 and OK. And this is the crucial part. You have to pick the correct profile from the family menu. So click in that box somewhere, it'll give you a down arrow, and you can see now that we have slab edge 300 by 150. That's the one we want, and click OK. Okay, so now we have that coming up in our actual properties bar for the slab edges. Alright, once you've got that in there, make sure you do a file save, and that will save it. just do a save because you've already saved this one. Make sure you do save that, otherwise you're going to have to go through the whole procedure again and do it all again. Okay, now we're going to go on and create our slab, and eventually we'll then put our slab edges on that slab that we've created.